interesting. You might think it's like something to be avoided, but you don't hate it, right? Even middle-class people, a lot of middle-class people don't hate poverty. They're just like, okay, well, yeah, I just want to stay away from that. I'll just like keep my good job and maintain my good credit, but they don't hate poverty. And I believe that sometimes what happens is when the pendulum swings, like it goes all the way over here to poverty, and all of a sudden it's like you so poor you can't even pay attention, right? And then all of a sudden you're like, I hate this. I hate not knowing where my next meal is coming from. I hate not knowing if I'm going to be able to pay the electric bill or the water bill this month. I hate not knowing if my car's going to get repossessed or worse, me possessed, right? I hate that. I hate having to tell my children no every time they ask me for something. And so I'm going to do something about this, right? Or I didn't like it. I wasn't okay with it. There are some people who are broke and they just resolved that this is the way it's supposed to be. Well, you can do that. But I would recommend against it. I would recommend that you develop a level of hatred for poverty so that you beat it so far away from the door it can't make its way back to your house in your children's lifetime. And several that the Bible names clearly, right? One is laziness, right? Laziness is a path that leads to poverty. Not all poor people are lazy, but most lazy people are poor. There are some rich lazy people. Okay, so not all lazy people are poor, but all lazy people are poorer than they need to be. Okay, so number one is laziness. Okay, well, if I become a diligent person, my chances of getting poverty away from my door have increased dramatically because I'm now willing to. Is laziness. Okay, well, if I become a diligent person, my chances of getting poverty away from my door have increased dramatically because I'm now willing to. Seest thou a man diligent in his business? He shall stand before kings. He shall not stand before mean men. Wow. The hand of the diligent maketh rich. Oh, okay. So I actually can do something about this. Do not make the mistake of thinking and believing that you are a victim of your circumstance. You are a victim of your belief systems. You are a victim of what you've accepted. You are a victim of what you are unwilling to fight for. And I know I'm coming kind of strong right now. Not because I ain't mad at you. I'm mad at poverty and doing my best to get you cranked up enough to beat it away from your door. So you got So laziness is a path that leads to poverty. Gluttony is a path that leads to poverty. Think about it. We eat stuff that robs us of our energy to go create solutions for other people that could provide wealth for us and our families. Drunkenness. And you can say drunkenness, getting high, tripping out, whatever you want to call it. I don't care if it's alcohol, marijuana, mushrooms, LSD, whatever. It is a pathway to poverty. The scripture says, the drunkard and the glutton shall lie down together, and drowsiness will clothe a man with rags. Huh. Okay, so let me get this right. I got to be diligent, work hard at what I'm working on. Don't overeat so I don't actually dig my grave with a knife and fork. Don't be a drunkard or getting whacked out of I don't have any brain cells to sacrifice on the altar of feeling good. Stay away from that stuff. Dishonesty. It's a pathway that leads to poverty. Because what it does is it tells other people who, by the way, all of the money that you desire and don't have right now, it's in somebody else's pocket. And so dishonesty tells people they can't trust you. And if they can't trust you, they ain't going to do business with you. If they don't do business with you, they're going to keep the money that could be your money if you serve them. It could be your money, but they're going to keep it in their pocket because they don't trust you. And they don't trust you because you're not honest. And your word doesn't mean anything to you. And I've had this conversation with people. If your word means nothing to you, how can you expect your word to mean something to me? And if you'll lie about anything, you'll lie about everything. Well, because what you told me is, when you lie, all you gotta do is lie one time, and you've told me everything I need to know about you. You are a liar. Leads The scripture says when you commit adultery, your treasure will be in the house of another. What? It's in the Bible. So, like, if I hate poverty, like, I have been poor. There's nobody in the world that's going to persuade me about the virtues of poverty. Been there, done that, got 2 t-shirts. There's no virtue. It's painful. It's sad. It's disgusting. Poor people are poverty. You know that lump you get in your throat when you know the bill is due tomorrow and you have a negative bank balance? You know that feeling you get in your heart and your heart starts palpitating? Myron, the word's palpitate. No, when it's real bad, it's palpitating. You got to add a syllable. It's real bad. It's like, y'all know what I'm talking about. And that feeling, like, a lot of times, people who have money, what they will do is they will throw money at a problem to avoid having to do the hardest work most people never do. And I just think about a solution. Like, when you don't have money, that can be an advantage because now you can tap into a level of creativity that you didn't have when you had money because you didn't need the creativity because you had the money. I tap into the most creativity when I'm stepping outside of my spending, like the highest level of entrepreneurial creativity that I step into is when I am desiring to buy something that's outside my current comfort spending zone. Did I say that too fast? I kind of did, didn't I? The way I tap into the highest level of creativity that I get to tap into is by tapping into, the way I tap into, the way that I tap into my highest level of entrepreneurial creativity is by deciding to buy something that's outside my current comfort spending zone, right? I remember when I decided to start flying private. I had no idea how much it was going to cost. No idea. But I decided sometimes I think we'd be better off to just make a decision. And I'm going to research and make sure I'm making the right decision. I didn't make the right decision. I just made the decision, then I made the decision right. I'm going to start flying private. I'm never getting on a commercial airliner again. But I said it. I didn't put my foot in my mouth now. I hope I like the taste of leather. Because here we go. Anybody got the salt and pepper to go with that leather? And so I called my friend Gary, and I'm like, Gary, you have access to a jet, don't you? I need to go to Vegas in 2 weeks, and I want to fly private. What can we do? And I'm thinking it's going to cost $25,000 to $30,000. He said, yeah, I got access to a jet. It's only going to cost $60,000. How much? How much? And then he said, yeah, you got to put your big boy pants on. You're going to fly private. I only have big boy. Man, don't you? Get the jet. Right? Now I'm like, okay. I had $60,000, but I didn't want to take $60,000 in an offer called a VIP day that back then, when I first created it, was $200,000. Now it's $350,000. I've sold $12 million of that offer in the last 2 years. It's an offer I would have never created if I wouldn't have decided to buy something that was outside my current spending comfort zone. And see, when you come to something that's outside your current comfort spending zone, I have nothing to sell you today. I'm just telling you how this whole thing works in me. It may not work. You may be different. You may be wired a little different, right? This is how I'm wired. And so when I made that decision, it gave me the ability to tap into a level of creativity that I've never tapped into before. And you know what's amazing? I've spent less than $5 million on private air travel. So I've profited in the last 2 years $7 million profit because I made a decision to buy something that was outside my current comfort spending zone. That's what I do, something to make yourself feel better so you don't have to think about it. Is that real? Yes. And so, what if you just allowed yourself to sit with the idea that you've got this thing coming up that you got to pay for? It could be an IRS bill. It could be whatever, a vacation. It could be a sick relative that you want to go visit. It doesn't matter what the thing is, but make a decision. I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to figure out how to do this thing. I'm going to figure out how to pay for it effortlessly, right? And then allow yourself to tap into a level of creativity that you've been protecting yourself from because it makes your brain sweat a little bit too much. So Hack into the pressure of poverty to access a level of creativity you're not going to access any other way. And so, like, I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday. Felipe and I, we were playing golf, and like I've been flying private for the last 2 years, and I don't own a jet, and like I would probably have to fly 3 times as much as I'm flying right now for it to make sense to me to own a jet, right? But I was telling him, I said, when I build this software company and we do an exit, which if we get 10,000, when we get to 10,000 customers, we could probably sell it for 300 million with only 10,000 customers, because that would give us like 10,000 customers would give us about $12 million a year in revenue, and you can sell 20 to 30 times EBITDA on software, right? And so I'm like, when I exit that software company, I'll probably buy a 30 to 40 million dollar jet. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but I said, and I know it. And Felipe, when we're just playing golf and we're just having a regular conversation, because he's just a friend of mine. He's not. We're friends. We just play golf together. That's what we do. He's not a business client or anything, but we just talk about stuff. He's like, "This is just crazy." Not crazy that I would do it. Just like the numbers to him are. But to me, I get it seems that way, but to me, 40 million, 4 million, 4,000, 400, $4, 400 million. It's all the same. Like, to me, they all represent the same thing. Like, if you think about the 4 levels of value, the lowest level of value is implementation. If you make all your money on the implementation level, you got to do a whole lot more implementing to get to $40 million from wherever you are. But if you operate on the next level, it's a whole lot closer, which is management skills. Like, you use your management skills on the unification level. But when you get up to the communication level and you can learn how to have conversations that create cash flow and create messages that move the masses, now you have something that can generate a whole lot of money in a very short period of time. But when you tap into the highest level of value, which is imagination, now everything that you buy, you're paying for with ideas. And how much does an idea cost? Well, it generally costs the time and effort and energy it took to think it up, right? And then you just, so when I think about paying for something, I don't think about paying for it by exchanging time for money. So whether I buy a jet or a bottle of water, it's all the same thing. It all costs the same amount. It costs me some of my creativity. And it doesn't really cost me, it costs me according to my creativity, not out of my creativity, because when I tap into the creativity and I create the thing, I don't have less creativity than I had. I'm gonna show you on the board. So, if I, this is me, right? This is me. Oops, that's not me. Oh, wait, no, update on next launch. There we go. Okay, my buy board is acting goofy. Of course it is. Okay, exit page. Yes, there we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back over here and start talking again. So, but what? No, it's going to reset. Okay, cool. So this is me.
Real estate investors, would you be interested in?
And I decide, I see this car. That I want to buy. It's an SUV. Okay. So if I'm, stop laughing at my art, y'all. Okay. If I decide, okay, I want to buy this, and I'm working on the implementation level, what I have to do is I have to use my muscles over time. So I go exchange some time, which is a limited asset, for some money, which is another limited asset. So when I go exchange the time for the money, I don't have the time anymore, but I have the money. When I go exchange the money for the car, now I have the car, and I don't have the time, and I don't have the money. So what I've done is I've exchanged two, get it back, there we go. So I've exchanged two limited assets for a limited liability. Are y'all tracking? But, ooh, this is so good. Y'all better not laugh at my art either. Ooh, I should have done that in yellow, but I'll do it like this. And I come up with an idea. And this idea, when I exchange the idea for money, When I exchange the idea for money, I get the money, but I still have the idea. Are you tracking? So when I tap into my creativity, when I decide to buy something, I don't get poorer, I get richer. If I'm down here, operating here, every time I buy something, I get poorer. When I operate up here, every time I buy something, I get richer. Because I create an idea that pays me money. When it pays me the money, I take the money that it paid me, I go buy the car. But guess what? This can make me more money to replace the money that I just